A field of 13 lineup for the Grade 1 Belmont Derby. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back. Been a little stagnant on posting, but we're getting gear for Saratoga. Everyone's back from their respective vacations. I was on vacation. El Hombre was on vacation. So it's been kind of tough to upload, but we're getting back in the swing of things for Saratoga. But first, we got one last weekend at Belmont Park, and it is highlighted by the Grade 1 Belmont Derby. We got a field of 13. They're in order here, courtesy of Horse Racing Nation. So we're just gonna run through the field. We got some European invaders, and yeah, we got some. This should be a very fun race. I don't think it's one of those races where you just can take the Euros and move on like you can in some turf races. So let's get into it. The number one is implementation, shipping here from France, and he's not bad. He's run okay this year. He still only has the one. He only has one career win in 7 starts. He watching his replay. He's just one of those grindy, middle of the pack type horses. It could get it done here. Johnny V has been hot the last week or so, so he does get Johnny, so that's a positive. I think he's a tough one to use as a legit win contender. If you're going deep here, I think he's a Euro. I don't think you want to discount necessarily, but he's definitely beatable. 5 starts this year. He's won 1-1 in those 5 starts. He's coming off a 4th place finish last time out. He is stretching out today, which is nice. I don't know. I'm not really huge on him. He's probably my least favorite Euro, and he's actually a Kentucky bred, sired by Constitution. I'm not super huge on him, but he's never run bad enough to really toss. I expect him to be sitting around mid pack, probably with the early speed in here. I'm gonna guess he's probably 7, 8 lengths off the early lead. He gets the rail. He'll save the ground. Johnny will give him a good trip. He usually always gives these horses good trips. It's a tough one to rule out. I definitely would rather recommend using him as a underneath horse in exactas and tries than using him as a win contender. But for me, he's going to be a toss, at least on top. The number two is Stolen Base for Michael Maker, and he won last time in the American Turf. He took a lot of money that day and got bet down. He had Pratt on him, and he got the job done. He looked good. Not sure if we're gonna get a repeat effort of that though. He definitely prefers turf in my opinion over synthetic, so he does have that going for him. Saez gets the mount, though again, not a bad jockey change. I would rather have Pratt in my opinion. I like when Maker stretches horses out on the turf, which he is doing here. I just think he needs to run better. I'm not actually huge on the horses coming out of this year's American Turf. So for that reason, I am not using him, but I can definitely make the case if especially if you like Maker. He's another horse. He's gonna get the setup with the likely pace scenario that should be in here, unlike other Naira turf races. So he'll be coming late. I just don't think he's got the best. I don't think he's got the best late close. He's probably going to be a little bit shorter of a price in my opinion. He tends to get bet down a lot. He's not for me. I will pass, but I won't talk anybody off of him. The number three is I'm not even going to try to say it. Nap Napple. Yeah, I don't know. Chad Brown. Chad Brown horse. I got crucified last time I butchered a name, so I'll skip the name here. I do like this one a little bit, and this is the mount that Pratt ends up on here for Peter Brandt. I think sign of things to come for Saratoga. Just missed in the Pennine Ridge where Emmanuel was able to go gate the wire. Horse fought all the way to the end. He's stretching out. He's got the pedigree to stretch out. I get the negative is that he doesn't have his graded stakes win, but he's never another one. He's never run a bad race. He's always right there, and it's Chad Brown. I like him. I'm hoping to get a little bit of a price on him. He definitely needs to improve off of that Pennine Ridge, which again was lone speed, but he's got 2 races over this Belmont turf. Both races have been good. His races with Pratt riding have been very good. I'm interested, especially if I'm going to get, 8, 10 to 1 on him, which I think I will. I honestly think he's a must use. And he's another one. He's going to sit, I think he'll sit a little bit closer than Stolen Base and Implementation will, but I still think he's going to be 4 or 5 lengths off the early pace. The number 4 is Classic Causeway, everybody's favorite, and finally we get this horse on the turf for Kenny McPeak, the son of Giants Causeway, who was on the Derby Trail, and boy, what a spot did they pick for him. Uh, I hate to say it, he's probably going to be on my tickets. I really hate to say it, but he's got the pedigree to go to distance. Giants Causeway out of a Thunder Gulch mare. He's got the pedigree for the distance. He's got the pedigree for the turf. He's got the early speed for the turf. He should be the early pace setter. In my opinion, he is the fastest early horse in here. He's going to be hustled. He should be hustled to the lead by Leparoux. He is him like Emmanuel, who we'll get to later, are 2 horses that if they get out of the gate and nobody decides to press, could be very dangerous if they're left alone on the front end. And you should get a huge price on him. I personally, I would not take anything less than like 20 to 1 in this spot. If he's less than 20 to 1, I'm steering clear and letting him beat me. But I think he's going to be I think he's going to be one of the longer shots on the board here. And he does have a chance to go gate the wire if he gets left alone. I think he's part of the reason why I do like more of the off the pace horses in this spot than normal at Naira tracks. Just because he is going to make sure there is pace in here. I am not a huge fan of Leparoux, especially at a shorter price, but if we get a big price on him, I think he's a horse that you can roll the dice with, especially if you have the bankroll to use 5 or 6 in this field for your pick 4s and pick 5s. I think he's one at a price that could blow up the totes if he's left alone. The number 5 is Grand Santana for Todd Pletcher and another middle of the pack stalker. Hasn't looked fantastic in my opinion. I think he's a cut below these. Gets Tyler in the irons. Tyler's ridden the last 4 times. He's got two wins earlier this year down at Gulfstream. Then was second in Keeneland in the Transylvania. Then was third last time out at Churchill Downs. He lost the Sly Dog, Side Dog, who is in here for motion a couple times. I think he's a cut below. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up pieces and finishes second or third late, passing tired horses. He's not for me. I think he drastically needs to improve for Pletcher. I think he least benefits in here from some of the Europeans coming over in a shorter field. I think I would have really liked this one, but he is one I'm going to steer clear of. I think there's just too many off the pace horses in here who look more solid than he does. The number 6 is Machete, another European invader. Recently coming out of the Qatar Prickstew Jockey Club, grade 1. He looked good last time. He got kind of caught on the inside all the way around. The winner came from the outside and just blew by everyone. But the third place finisher in there is Modern Games, who infamously won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf last year, but was running for purse money only and messed up everybody because everybody had him as a single on their tickets, and we were left with a bad post time favorite. but he was third in there, and he finished third, but he dueled for the lead the whole time, and then was passed right at the wire for second. But Machete was one of those horses that was kind of stalking that pace and just could never go by. He's going to be mid pack. I think he's going to be a little bit closer though, probably 3, 4 lengths off the early lead is where I'm going to guess they want this horse. I think he definitely he showed he can run against top class horses. He has a win over implementation. He's he's got 2 wins and 8 starts. He's 1 and 6 starts as a 3-year-old. He's stretching out today. He looks tough, in my opinion. I think he's one that's going to get an early jump on the leaders, and he fights. He fights. He even though he finished 7th last time out, he could have finished much worse in that field, based on how the race played out, and he stayed on fairly well. So he's one. If he's bet down a lot, I'm probably not too much interested in. But 6-7 to 1, I'd be a little bit interested in him. I think he's better than most of the Americans in this spot. So one that I wouldn't overlook probably will end up on my tickets. The number 7 is Side Dog for Graham Motion, and Emotion always seems to have a horse like this that just always shows up and always runs to its competition. Looked good last time in the American Turf, went off the 2-1 favorite and just couldn't get there. He made up ground late. Big issue today is that he loses Jose Ortiz. He gets Manny Franco, and I know Franco's been red hot at Belmont this year. If Manny wins on this one, okay. I don't see it. He's going to be coming from. I think he's going to be coming from a little farther back than I think people would hope. I think Manny is going to have him probably, it's 7, 8 lengths deep off the lead. Probably one of the last horses, in my opinion, out of this deep field. So I think he's going to have to finish. He's going to have to pass pretty much everybody in the stretch. He could do it if the pace gets hot enough. Just I can't pick Manny in the spot. I feel like these are not the races Manny Franco wins. Every now and again he'll get one. I don't think this is the spot for Manny. I do really like this horse though. Horse is excellent breeding. Should have no problem with the distance. I think kind of like Classic Causeway. If for some reason this horse floats up in double digit odds, I'll roll the dice. But if this horse is single digit odds by post time, just a horse I think that you gotta let beat you, in my opinion, especially in a grade one with Franco riding. Not really his cup of tea, in my opinion. The number 8 is Royal Patronage. Gets Joel Rosario, and I am this one. He's pretty tough to gauge, in my opinion. He looked bad last time out. I just don't know what else to say in that Epsom Derby. He just did not look good at all. The winner looked great. He went nowhere. So kind of tough to gauge him off of that one. His race 2 back was definitely much better. Was second to Desert Crown, who won the Epsom Derby. So he definitely can run with top class horses. He's another one though. He just wants to sit mid pack. He gets Rosario, who is still, in my opinion, one of the top, if not like one of the top, if not the top closer jockey in the game. So definitely has positives. I just don't think you're going to get a price, and I don't know if he's worth it if you don't get the price on him. I think he's going to be heavily bet because Rosario took the mount. Uh, he's a grade one winner. He's a grade one winner. He's got a grade one, a grade two, and a grade three win. He was second in a grade two this year. This is actually going to be his fourth grade one race, I believe. So he's got experience against top class horses. I just don't know how good he really is. Uh, Especially if this horse is going to be second or third choice here, I want nothing to really do with him. So we will uh we will see with him if he's a double digit odds. Sure, roll the dice. I think anything lower than like 8-1 on this horse, I would just try to beat. In my opinion, I'm not huge on him. Won't talk you off of him, but I think there's better euros in here. The number 9 is Tiz the Bomb, and Tiz the Bomb is getting back on turf, and I think that's pretty scary, to be honest with you. He was second last year in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. To Modern Games, he was technically the betting winner. Uh, he ran on Poly twice this year and won both, including over Stolen Base, who then won the American Turf, and he beat Tawny Port, who just won the Ohio Derby, and the Jeff Ruby. Ran ninth in the Kentucky Derby, which in reality wasn't terrible, based on how that race played out. So first start since the Derby. Not a huge fan of Dylan Davis taking the mount, but we've been saying all year. We all said that this is a turf horse. This is a turf horse. This is a turf horse. Well, here you go. He's back on turf, and yeah, it's against some tough competition, but he's shown he can be game. I'm not ruling him out here. I like him. I hate that I like him because Dylan Davis is on him. But boy, his turf and poly numbers are right up there with everybody else, with the other top horses here. I think he is a must use in my opinion. Even with Dylan, I definitely would be cautious of at what price you'd play this horse at. But if you get a good price, 5, 6-1 on him, I think that's more than fair. Even 4-1, I think I would take on him. I wouldn't take him as a heavy favorite, but I don't think he will be. But he fits. He should get the pace. You should get the pace that fits. He's shown that he can come from way back or he can sit right there. He's pretty versatile. Davis knows Belmont, so even though I'm not a huge fan of Dylan, he's not the worst jockey that he could get here. So I think Tiz the Bomb fits here. I think the question is how good is he really? Based off his other turf numbers, he's right there. So I think Tiz the Bomb is a use especially on your pick fours and pick fives. The number 10 is Nation's Pride, and Nation's Pride is also coming out of that Epsom Derby. He finished 8th, whereas Royal Patronage finished 16th. And he ran okay. He ran okay in that spot. Um, eh, the winner won easily. So not crazy. Wasn't super impressed with his runs, but before that he had rattled off 4 straight wins, including a grade 1. He very clearly likes the turf. He gets a jockey change today to Frankie Dettori from William Buick, who I like Buick a lot. He fits. I think he's a must use, especially if he runs back to his new market. It runs back to his new market race where him and Buick won by what, about 7 lengths, I believe. He looks tough. I think this is one of those horses. He's going to be very heavily bet because of Charlie Appleby, because of Frankie Dettori. I think you if you're going short in this spot, I think you can use him. If you're going deeper in this spot for your tickets, I think he's a horse you do try to beat. As crazy as that sounds, I know Frankie didn't have the best of Royal Ascot meets, so I know some people here will be a little down on him, but he's still one of the top jockeys, in my opinion, in the world. Uh, Horse is a Godolphin homebred. Charlie Appleby is still one of the top turf trainers in the world. Hard to really toss him. I just don't think with the price I think we're going to get on him, I think we're going to get probably 3-1 or shorter. I think it's very hard to go deep in the spot if you're using this horse. Same with Stone Age, who we'll get to in a little bit. I think those two are going to be the top two betting choices, or at least they should be in my mind. I don't have morning lines here, so I'm just guessing on what I think the morning line should be. At a short price, I think he's one of those either you have faith in him or you don't, is my opinion on him. So definitely pay attention to the board, but Nation's Pride looks very tough in this spot, coming out of a tougher spot. The number 11 is Emmanuel for Todd Pletcher, WinStar Farms, and we finally got to see him on the grass last time out in the Pennine Ridge. I hyped this horse up for months on Twitter about getting on the turf with his pedigree, sired by More Than Ready, and he did not disappoint. He went gate to wire and won easily over a tough field. His downfall today is that Classic Causeway decided to enter. Without Classic Causeway in here, he may have been my top pick because I think he has the talent to take this group gate to wire. He's a very good turf horse. I think he's going to be a very good turf horse down the line. He's got early speed, which a lot of these turf horses don't have. He is one like Classic Causeway where it might be worth it to use them on tickets and hope one of them gets loose. I don't think either will wire if they get if one of them presses the other. I think they're going to set the race up for everybody else. But if for some reason one of them misses the break or one of them just bolts out quickly and the other decides not to press, they both, I think, are talented enough to take this group gate to wire. I think for that reason, he's a must use, especially at a price. Second time on the turf, he gets Irad Ortiz today as Jose jumps off to ride Limited Liability, who we'll get to next. I think he's dangerous in this spot just because of the lack of early speed. So I'm going to use Emmanuel. I personally like Emmanuel more than Classic Causeway just because he does already have a win over this Belmont turf, and we've seen him run on the turf before, so we know he can do it. Whereas Classic Causeway, we haven't seen. So I'm hoping I get around 8 to 10 to 1 on Emmanuel. I bet he's a little shorter than that, but still, as long as this horse isn't bet down to nothing, which I don't think he will be, he's a must use for me. The number 12 is Limited Liability for Shug McGahee. Jose Ortiz keeps them out, hops off a couple others here to ride for Shug. And I love Shug McGahee horses. He should get the setup today. At a price, he'll be on my ticket. I'm tossing the idea of this horse being my top pick, honestly, but I'm a sucker for Shug horses, so I'm trying not to be a little biased here. But with the speed, he should get the setup. He's a Kitten's Joy horse, stretching out on the turf. He ran at a 1.125 miles last time. He gets the 1.25 miles today, which is nice. And that's a kind of jump I like to see with these Kitten's Joy horses. And he comes from mid-pack, so he's going to have to come from mid-pack again. He's going to have to improve numbers-wise. He is not the fastest horse by the numbers in this field. And he got beat. He couldn't make up ground on Emmanuel, who did go. He was making up ground late on Emmanuel, who went gate the wire in the Pennine Ridge. But again, it was a smaller field. It was only a field of 6. He finished third, so he only beat 3 others. But he should get a good setup here with the pace. He's got a couple good workouts coming in. Shug has not had the best of meets. This might be one that you might just want to key at a price to finish second or third, as Shug has definitely done better running second or third than he has winning this meet. He's got as of the time I'm recording this, Shug has 35 starters at Belmont, and 16 of those have finished second or third, with only 2 wins. So he hasn't had the best of racing luck, but his horses are showing up. They're showing up and they're running okay. I don't see why Limited Liability should run a bad race here. He has to improve, and he should be a price. So I like him. I think he's a horse you kind of just key underneath. I'm gonna throw him on my tickets because I love Kitten's Joy's horses stretching out on the turf. So that's just me though. So this horse is gonna end up on my ticket, but we'll see. He might be last out, but I do like him. The number 13 is Stone Age, who I am going to expect it will be the favorite. Aiden O'Brien, Ryan Moore combo. Ryan Moore, probably, I know some people don't like him, but he's arguably one like the top jockey. Uh, he's basically a big money jockey. He flies everywhere to ride. Rides for Aiden O'Brien a lot. They win a lot together, and they end up here. Uh, he got a good trip last time out in the Epsom Derby. He got bet hard that day. He went off at sub 4-1. He just couldn't make up. He really just couldn't make up ground. Desert Crown took the lead, and that was it. He sat just behind the pace. I think if he does that today, he's going to be very dangerous. I'm not a huge fan of the outside post, but he was inside last time, so maybe the outside post does help him. My one worry is that Ryan Moore will keep him wider than he should. He does have the tendency to do that in races. He is kind of like he honestly, in my opinion, rides a lot like Mike Smith does, where he gets these big mounts and he does his best to keep them out of trouble. So if you like Stone Age, he's probably going to be pretty wide, but there is a good chance that Stone Age is just that good. So I would if I can already see after the race people mad that he kept this horse 4 or 5 wide the entire way. I can 100% see him doing that. And I can see him either winning or, horse comes in fourth and everyone's like, what was that ride? Like he really flew all the way here for that. I wouldn't let the post position deter you from using him. He will be bet. I think he is going to be heavily bet. His running style fits good here because I do think he's going to be in that first flight, like 2, 3 off the early pace setters, and he'll be one of those horses that does get first jump. And if he's good enough, he can win. I do worry about the 13 post. I do downgrade him a bit because of that 13 post. But with that said, it's Ryan Moore and Aiden O'Brien. I know Aiden O'Brien in the past, he had that little stretch there of a few years where he wasn't really winning, but then he started to win again. So he looks tough. He looks tough. I think he's another one like Nation's Pride, where if you're using him, don't go too deep here. In my opinion, if you're going to use those horses, go short, go shorter in this race, and save your bullets for other legs. This late sequence is pretty tough. I believe it's got 4 turf races in it. 4 of the 5 are turf races, including this and the Belmont Oaks, which is equally as fun to handicap. I'll go over that. I'll just give my picks for that after this. But yeah, this is one of those races where a lot of people are just going to use a ton of horses and not have bullets for other legs. In my opinion, if you're going to use the Appleby or the O'Brien horse, go short here and save your bullets elsewhere because if you go 6 or 7 deep here and Stone Age wins at 3-1, you're losing a ton of value in other spots for a horse that was 3-1. So you don't want to go that deep and catch a horse like that. You want to go if you're gonna go 6, 7 deep, you want to catch the 10, 15-1 horse. So either use the chalk or don't use chalk as a safety valve. In my opinion, the sequence does have potential to pay, so I am saying that without handicapping the whole sequence. But just a general rule, you don't use if you're afraid of chalk. You don't always have to use chalk defensively. You can't use chalk in every leg, so that's where I would be a little. That's where I would be a little cautious of using the chalk. But I do like him. My top pick in here, and I I'm torn between using the Chad Brown horse as my top pick in here and Tiz the Bomb. Those are going to be my top two picks in here. I'm going to try to beat the Euros with the American horses, which I know is crazy. I'm probably going to look like an idiot here, which is fine, But I'm going to try. I'm going to use those two, and those are my top two picks. And that's all I'm gonna give. I'm gonna try to beat them with those two. I'll probably key those two on top of some of the European horses, and I'll play those two on top of a lot. But I do like Chad Brown in this spot. I think that horse is improving. I wish I could say his name, but I can't, and I'm not gonna butcher it. And I hate to say it, but Tiz the Bomb fits. And if I lose trying to bet Tiz the Bomb at 10-1 in this spot, so be it. If he gets bet down, I will definitely change my betting strategy. But I'm expecting to get somewhat, 8 to 10-1 at least on Tiz the Bomb. So that's where I'm at here. There are a couple other stakes races on the day. I'm gonna pull those. I'm gonna pull those up if I can. Give me a second here. That is obviously the top one. We'll go first. Race number 4 early on in the day is the zoom in is the grade 2 suburban. It is a small field. It is not a great field, but it is a graded stake. So I'll just briefly talk about it. I like First Captain here. I already said I'm a sucker for shug horses, but First Captain has done nothing wrong. He won the Pimlico Special last time out against a decent field. At least like this caliber of field. This is not a true grade 2 in my opinion. This is a pretty bad field. The other horse in here, Dynamic One for Pletcher. I think these two will run 1-2. I don't want any part of Max Player again. I made that mistake last time, and he was not good. Forewarned was not good in the Pimlico Special, and Untreated ran good for Pletcher in the Pimlico Special, but still First Captain beat him fairly easily. So First Captain Dynamic One here. That would be my exact. I think it's going to be the chalk. I believe they are both very short on the morning line. I think like 7-5 and 8-5 or something like that. But I like First Captain. He's in the early. It's in the early sequence, so it's not in the late sequence. So you shouldn't have to worry about getting hurt on value there. But in the early sequence, I think you can single one of those two horses and get away with it. I'm going to single First Captain in the early pick 5 sequence. And the other race that I was going to touch on is the Belmont Derby the Belmont Oaks. And the Belmont Oaks has a solid field of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Belmont Oaks has a field of 10. Let me pull this up here. And this is a very solid field, and with the Moonlight is going to be the heavy favorite in here, in my opinion. Let me zoom out a little bit. This is going to be the heavy favorite in here, in my opinion, and rightfully so. Frankie, Charlie Appleby, pedigree's there. Didn't run fantastic last time, but again, running against much tougher here. The Joseph O'Brien horse, Argatha, sorry, also looks tough in here. I do like that one as well. And I do like Haughty. Haughty kind of had a coming out party a little bit in the Pen Oaks lesser field, so we'll need to improve. But yeah, those are the three that I'm interested in this field. With the Moonlight, I'm expecting to get kind of hammered on the betting side. If I'm being honest, I think most of the Euros will be the focus of the wagering here. So if you're using the Americans here, I think you're definitely going to get a good price, because I think unlike the Unlike the Belmont Derby, I think the Belmont Oaks will definitely be won by a Euro. So with Moonlight, Argatha, those are my two here. And that is it for me for this weekend. Again, good luck if you're playing. The late sequence looks like it should pay very well. It's a tough sequence, so definitely spend your time handicapping it if you're playing this weekend. And I will see you at Saratoga.